On August 8, 2013, just before 1 o'clock in the morning, a 26-year-old man called 911 from a dark stretch of highway in rural Texas. He sounded frightened and out of breath.
My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here and got taken to the woods. Please hurry.
Then the call became difficult to understand. Words broke apart, muffled noises took over the line. At one point, the man said he was in the middle of a field. And after that night, nobody heard from him again. Earlier that evening, Brandon Lawson had argued with his longtime girlfriend, Ledessa, at the home they shared in San Angelo, Texas. Ledessa reportedly believed Brandon may have relapsed into methamphetamine use, and according to Brandon's brother Kyle, he had been acting paranoid and erratic throughout the night. Not long after the argument, Brandon suddenly decided to leave town. Just before midnight, he climbed into his silver Ford and started driving towards his father's house several hours away. But somewhere along Highway 277 near Bronte, Brandon ran out of gas. The area was isolated, thick brush surrounded the road, and cell service was notoriously unreliable. Brandon called his brother Kyle and asked for help. During the call, he said something disturbing. He claimed people were chasing him. Kyle later said Brandon specifically mentioned Mexicans in the neighborhood chasing him out of town. When Kyle asked if he was hallucinating, Brandon insisted he wasn't. Kyle grabbed a gas can and started driving towards the stranded truck. Meanwhile, Brandon remained alone on the side of the highway. Then, at 12:50 a.m., Brandon called 911.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. It's like we're just pushing guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here and got taken to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
I'm not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? Hello? Hello?
The operator struggled to understand him. Some parts of the call were clear. Brandon repeatedly mentioned people nearby. Other parts became the subject of years of debate online. Some listeners believe they heard gunshots in the background.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Others thought Brandon whispered, "Help me."
Hello?
None of that was ever confirmed, but one thing was obvious. Brandon believed something was happening out there in the dark. Only minutes later, a sheriff's deputy arrived near Brandon's truck after another driver reported it blocking the roadway. Around the same time, Kyle reached the scene with the gas can. The truck had simply run out of fuel. There were no obvious signs of violence, no blood, there was no damage to the vehicle. But Brandon himself had disappeared into the darkness surrounding the highway. Then came one of the strangest moments in the entire case. While Kyle stood near the truck, Brandon called him again. According to Kyle, Brandon said, "I can see you, I'm right here," but Kyle couldn't see him anywhere. Over the next several minutes, Brandon made a series of short, fragmented phone calls before suddenly going silent. In one of the final calls, he reportedly claimed he was bleeding. Then his phone stopped responding entirely. By sunrise, Brandon had vanished. Search teams spent days combing the area around Highway 277, but nothing significant was found. No body, no clear evidence of foul play, no confirmed sign of where Brandon had gone. Then, nearly 9 years later, the case suddenly changed. In 2022, searchers discovered clothing and human remains less than a mile from where Brandon's truck had run out of gas. 2 years later, the DNA confirmed the remains belonged to Brandon Lawson. As years passed, the mystery spread across the internet. People replayed Brandon's 911 call over and over, trying to work out what he had been trying to say in his final moments. Some believed drugs and paranoia explained everything. Others believed Brandon had genuinely encountered someone dangerous along the highway that night. But to this day, nobody has ever explained exactly what happened to Brandon Lawson during that final hour beside Highway 277.